I have death threats from BJP. I have 23 emails sent to my husband's email with my picture and my 3-year-old doctor's daughter's picture with rape and death threats. I just opened about it last year. So BJP is threatening me so much. RSS, the conscious of this caste society, it lacks integrity. It lacks honesty. All they want to do is express their sorrow when someone dies. But when people from the marginalized religion, minority religion, or marginalized community gets raped, they've reacted as if Nirbhaya case is happening for the first time in this country. Cruel rapes, gang rapes of Dalit women have happened in this country. Around the rapes which happens in India, only 5% are gang rapes. And in that 5%, 90% are Dalits and Muslims. I am a survivor of domestic violence because of caste. I was married to someone when I was 21 years old, to a other caste person who treated me very badly, who broke my backbone.
So, welcome all to DYNT News new podcast. Today we have with us Shalin Mariya Lawrence. Shalin Mariya Lawrence is an intersectional feminist. She is a powerhouse figure on not only social media but also outside of it. And she has been saying a lot of things about caste and how caste mingles with religion, and why Dravidian politics has been a failure in Tamil Nadu for a long time. Today, she joins us for a discussion on her life as well as her politics. Welcome, Shalin, to DYNT.
Thank you
Uh,
so much, Abid. I'm really happy to join you on DYNT News, and it's a pleasure speaking to like-minded people from across the country. So I'm really, it's a pleasure and an honor for me to join you here for the interview. I can't
Thank
say
you.
interview; it's just a panel. We are just
Yeah,
discussing,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
we'll
yeah.
just not call it interview. Yes.
Yeah, for the first time on our podcast, we are having someone whose wife matches mine. And thank you for making this cool centric. So let me tell you that DYNT means democratize your nation today. One of our tagline is awaken one human at a time. So let's start just as we are, just as I saw you on social media as you are fighting the trolls. So, you have been trolled mercilessly by BJP as well as supporters of AIDMK, DMK. And what do you think is the real problem? Because these are all, men who are trolling you. Women also troll you, and these are supporters of Dravidian politics as well as some say that they are anti-caste as well. So, you know, what do you think is the main issue? Is it because you are someone who is from the Christian Dalit community, and also because that you are a woman and intersectional feminist?
The reason, I mean, when you say when I'm troll is a very, uh, very a slight word because I've faced threats, I've been abused, there have been caste slurs used against me, gender slurs, slurs based on my religion, slurs based, I mean, I've been body shamed, I've been character assassinated, I've been, done a lot of stuff over the internet for the last, I think, from 2016 when I started writing on feminism and caste. From that time onwards, I have been facing this. So, not just troll, but troll in a mass level, in a very huge level, and when you say trolling and abuse, you people will always expect, oh, it comes from BJP, right wing. For me, I'm like this case study person. Like everybody calls me, everybody talks to me, and they ask, okay, we want to talk about your troll story because you're someone who are actually being targeted by the left and the right.
Mm,
Me being left, I am extreme left. So even
mm,
being that, I've been targeted by everybody, even people who call themselves progressives, people, women especially, and even by caste marginalized people. I've been called names and stuff like that. So see, that is the reason I started talking intersectional feminism. See, I was a feminist But when I spoke feminism for everybody, the Savarna kind of feminism, white women feminism, everybody loved me. Oh, I was a very loved child on social media, early 2016. But in 2017, when I started, traveling to the south of Madurai, South India, but I interacted and I worked with victims of caste and gender-based violence. That's when caste quotient, enters, and I talk about my background, how I come from a slum, how I am oppressed by the state, and then how I also talk about these women from the rural South India, how they're affected by caste. And that is the time when all these progressive who used to love my speeches on Perriarism and progressive stuff, they started hating me. They used to, spew venom on me. And I'm like, you're my people. Like, why are you scolding me? And they used to use slurs and everything. And then they used to target my religion too, because in India we don't just have a communal problem, we have caste and communal problem. We do have a class problem also. So I come from these three intersections because I'm a Dalit, I am a Christian, and I come from the most marginalized working class section, from the slums of Madras. You should see them in person to see how people live there. So end of the day, I'm in this intersection, so I have to talk about everything. And then I need to criticize, certain religion, especially Hinduism, which forced me to be an untouchable, or my family as untouchables, because even after converting, we are treated as untouchables. And then you have caste, you have the progressive, the OBC politics of Tamil Nadu is OBC power game. So Dalit rights comes last. So I have to fight for my that identity too. That identity politics comes, and then I talk about gender, and I talk about feminism. So it's like, nobody likes me because you talk. They say you talk one politics, anti BJP politics. You don't talk about caste politics. Cool for us. Or you talk about anti BJP, anti Brahmin, anti not anti Brahmanism, anti Brahmin politics. We are okay with it. But once you start talking about OBC, the politics in Tamil Nadu, the caste politics or caste pride, then we will not leave you. And then they do not like a woman talking, because I've seen many Dalit men also raising the issue. Many Dalit men also speak. But when I talk, the targeting is more. The words used are very different, and the harassment is more. So the patriarchy also comes in. So it is like a woman talking against us. Oh, how can that happen? So how they treat a Dalit man who's talking the same things from how it treat a Dalit woman is totally, very disappointing. It's more horrendous. So I have to face from everybody. See, well, then they say they have a thinking. If you're going to talk against communal politics of BJP, which means you have to not talk about the caste politics in Tamil Nadu. They have this understanding. See, I'm not like that. I'm an Ambedkarite. As an Ambedkarite, see, Ambedkar, when the whole India nation was fighting against the British, he was fighting for civil rights. He was fighting for water. He was fighting for rights into, he was fighting for entry into, he was fighting for a lot of stuff, rights for laborers, rights for women, maternity laws, so many stuff. And everybody questioned him, like, they called him a traitor. Oh, you're a traitor because, we're all fighting the British. The British, the British are our biggest enemies. You're fighting for it. You're selfish. No, civil rights is the first, that is the first battle that everybody in this country has to fight. And then we will move on to the, the other evils too. So what is affecting me at present in my place, in my village, my city, that matters to me a lot. So I am a strong criticizer of BJP. I criticize parties, Dravidian parties who call themselves as social justice warriors, but they demean women, they demean Dalits, they dehumanize Dalits, they show benevolent caste traits, like, we did this to you, we did this to you, we put picture for you. Picture means, like, arms. They say, we
Mm,
gave you arms for Dalits. This is something which I don't like. I take my strength from Malcolm X's, black movement, and I take my strength from assertive politics of Ambedkar. then how would you want me to do a balanced politics, which is like, left centrist? I don't want to do left centrist politics. I want to do dedicated left politics. So I get it from everybody. Even Udayanidhi blocked me last week. He's a
Yeah,
minister,
yeah.
and I didn't speak of it. He just put a mosquito coil. I just spoke in a very decent language, saying dengue is more because a child
Mm,
died on that day, and we all
mm,
suffer. My people in my slums, they suffer because of the stagnated water and lot of stuff. I just asked one civic question. For that, he blocked me. He is someone who has been, accommodating trolls. You remember how Modi ji, follows trolls. Udayanidhi also does it. He follows the trolls. Now, this is a person who went ahead and blocked me for being a very decent critic. I never troll people. I never insult people. I am so sensitized with gender and everything. So as a human rights defender, I know my language, right? What to use, what
mm,
not to use.
mm,
And these are the people who block activists, Dalit activists, because they can't answer them. Because they're the whole spree of abolishing Sanatana, they forgot
mm.
that real Sanatana is the casteism which is every individual has, right? Tamil
Yeah.
Nadu. So that's why I get trolled by everyone. It's been like then I have to end up in therapy for trauma healing, for PTSD healing, because of all the trolling they did on me. I have death threats from BJP. I have 23 emails sent to my husband's email with my picture and my 3-year-old doctor's daughter's picture with rape and death threats. I just opened about it last year. So BJP is threatening me so much, RSS. And the other hand, I have these people who are supposed to protect me, the left wing of Tamil Nadu, who do not like me because a Dalit woman from the marginalized section is questioning them, or asking them the right questions, and they don't like it. This is the status.
Yeah, it's a lot like the gatekeeping of Congress. I think just the body has changed. Just like the Congress likes to gatekeep Muslim, Dalit, and other marginalized sections in rest of India, more like so. AIDMK and DMK people are trying to do that.
No, they are
Anyways,
like, I will give you 1,000 rupees. I will give you 2,000 rupees. I will give you mixie. I will give you TV. You shut
mm,
up. You don't talk about
mm,
rights. It's not. It's about
mm,
welfare. It's not about rights at all. So when you talk about human rights, when you talk about assertive politics, it's like, Dalits. They think that Dalits don't have their brains of their own, or they're not independent
mm,
thinkers. So they'll show the ways. हम दिखाएंगे आपको कैसा जाना है, कैसा
mm,
करना है स्ट्रगल, हम बताएंगे, ठीक है, आपको कुछ भी नहीं पता. This itself is casteism. Now how do I explain this to people? This itself is casteism. You can't tell me how to fight. Be my ally. So the whole, see, the dynamics, the caste dynamics of Tamil Nadu is very different. See, when you said
mm,
Bahujan politics, I will not
mm,
accept that in Tamil Nadu at all, because in Tamil
mm,
Nadu only 3% are Brahmins and around
mm,
5% are upper caste. All 26% is Dalits, and in between जो भी big chunk है ना वो OBC है. And these are
mm,
the people who really, along with the Brahmins and upper caste, these are the people who are asserting their caste identities and pride upon us. So
mm.
obviously I will question that, right? They
Yeah,
can't mix UP caste dynamics with Tamil Nadu's caste dynamics. Both are very
yeah.
different.
Yeah, agree. So it brings to the newest question that is right now hot topic in India. That what do you think about the women reservation bill? As an intersection feminist, what do you think about the women reservation bill that has been passed in the parliament today, which will come to effect somewhere after 2026
27.
when delimitation happens?
Yeah. So it's very tricky. See how they brought in delimitation along with it.
Yeah.
So, see, women's reservation bill is something which we've all been asking for. We've seen BJP saying no to it. We've seen Congress saying no to it. Yeah, we've seen a lot of things going around forever, because I'm someone who's following politics for the last 3 decades, so I know
Mm,
what is happening. So,
mm,
eventually, BJP bringing this is like, okay, you're doing it, but I'm really doubtful on how this will be rolled out, because they're saying they'll bring it along with delimitation in 2027. So based on the population, Tamil Nadu will actually lose a lot of seats when it comes to
yeah.
delimitation. right? A
yeah,
lot of UP
yeah.
will gain more and Tamil Nadu will lose it. And then Tamil
Yeah.
Nadu will also lose that, power which it has in the Indian politics, central politics.
Politics.
So, yeah, so it's a very big weakness. Why are you clubbing women's reservation bill with delimitation? First of all,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
problematic. It's highly problematic. Okay,
Mm,
keeping that aside, if you're going to bring a bill, we are not in 1996. We are in
mm, mm,
2023. Population
mm,
is women are 50%. Okay,
mm,
give us
mm.
50% reservation. 33% is not needed. We need 50%.
True,
Okay,
true, true,
maybe
true.
you're saving face because, let's say, give them the benefit of advantage. We say, okay, BJP is bringing it because they are a part of UN, they are part of everything, and they want, and there is a requirement for countries, to do certain things. And they are also bringing, like the Scandinavian countries, like the sub-Saharan countries, they're bringing in 50%
Mm,
reservation.
mm,
The reservation, but 50% is
mm.
what we need based on the population, and within that we need quota. So
Subquota,
quota mein
subquota,
quota, the sub quota.
subquota.
So what,
SC, OBC.
yeah,
Yeah,
SC OBC ka chahiye to. What will happen otherwise? They will actually, if you ask me, I'll say give quota for marginalized religions also. Okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I will say.
No, OBC
Yeah,
includes
it
Muslims
includes,
also.
yeah,
Yeah,
which it
yeah.
includes Christian. So
Uh,
basically what happens is, we need quota within the quota, because you've seen the generic general quota also. They will give only to mostly upper caste and feudal caste, people. So women also, the women's policy politics also. See, the whole election process is who's having money, right? Who can
yes,
spend,
yes, yes,
who has land. So
yeah,
same thing, like how Ambedkar spoke to the Montague Chelmsford committee. I'm putting
yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah.
When they brought the, a franchisee, the vote, right? They said, anybody with land and, degree. So same thing will happen. So who has money to spend and things will come. So only upper caste and, whatever caste dynamics of the regions, they will be represented. As usual, Dalits will be forced to get into that reservation for Dalits. Okay,
Mm,
they will be forced to go into that. So in that, these people will try to give, Dalit women also. Within that, we'll give you that. We do not
mm,
need that. We need that differently, and we need
mm,
a quota within this, because women are not the same. I think
mm,
when this debate happened, I was in my college, I think so. I was in my 12th standard. When this debate was happening, women came out and said, "Oh, all of us are same." No, all of us are not same. Intersectional feminism is, that's the reason we speak intersectional feminism, because you're different, I'm different, and there are marginalized voices which need to
mm,
be there in the parliament to make decisions on behalf of this government. That
mm.
agency was not there with the marginalized women of this country, Dalit, Adivasi, Bahujan, OBC. So that agency is needed. So that will happen only if you give me that representation. We have representation in local bodies because of Panchayat Raj to Dalit women. Because of that, there are a lot of Dalit women who are, Panchayat heads. They are facing a
Mm,
lot of violence. I'm not going to get into this, but they do
mm,
have agency. Like
mm,
that, in the assembly also, we need agency, so we need to have reservation. If you're not going to do this, then I myself will go and say we do not need a reservation for women. You have
mm.
to be very intersectional. Quota pe quota.
Yeah, yeah,
Ah.
yeah, yeah. This is a lot like creating a Brahmin nation. Okay, where
You
know,
seriously know who will get it? Who will get the seat?
yeah, even if that is secular, there
Ah.
will be a urban and rural divide. So urban
There'll be
people,
urban,
urban
rural.
Dalits will go and kill the voice of the few people in the villages who are facing different kind of casteism. And
I
urban
always
casteism is
talk
very
about
different.
that because I am an
Uh,
urban Dalit. Even though I'd
uh,
go through oppression, the
uh,
rural Dalit woman goes through a more, set of
yeah, yeah,
oppression than me. So that's why I always talk about class, view within the Dalit fold and
G,
area, urban and rural. That distinction also. So we need to have
yeah,
a more sensitized parliamentary body which would think about all these things. You see, Shalin and Abid can talk very
yeah,
sensitively, and they are members of the parliament. Why can't they
yeah,
have such sensitive dialogues? And then, bring this bill and, customize it, localize it, and, give it in a more inclusive format. Just don't do an eyewash. Eyewash anybody can do. We don't need eyewash, no. But first of all, and they say it's 2027. 2027 में इतना climate change का जो भी हो रहा है, इंडिया रहेगा ना नहीं, the whole world
yeah,
will be there. I don't know, but
yeah.
yeah, it's long time. You do it now, 2024. What is your problem? You want to
See,
connect it with the delimitation. All tricky. BJP wants to go all tricky.
this is going to help the Hindi upper caste, upper class, middle class, Hindu women mostly, because there will be
Not
huge
the
rise in
minorities or Dalit or Adivasis. The
yeah,
Adivasi women
Bihar
will be
and
the
UP.
last to, get benefited from that. Or they will never get benefited. So
Yeah,
this is what it is going to be.
Sharad Yadav had also said a long time ago that if there is no sub quota within the women reservation bill, then I am going to commit suicide. But
Yeah, the word he used, like that bob cut woman. He used
pop,
a word called bob cut woman. That time he
yeah,
kind of generalized it, saying that bob cut women are like upper caste elite women.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the point, that time,
Mm.
no, lot of feminists, Savana feminists, demonized him. But to be very
Uh,
frank, he made a very उनका language है, उनका language, yeah.
yeah,
He's from oppressed
yeah.
position, location. So he
Mm,
spoke about how it will only go to those women. That is not the true voice of India. Even the
mm.
prime minister, oh, we had the first female prime minister. What, from the Brahmin caste, a Hindu woman from an elite nepotistic thing?
Family, like
No.
Indira Gandhi.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you have Madam,
Even,
Honorable Madam Draupadi ji,
yeah,
who doesn't even have a agency. So
yeah.
you see
Even
the,
today, she was
yeah,
not invited.
invited.
Kanda Ranat was invited.
I'm checking whether it's fake news. I'm like going
No,
through
it
all
is
the
not fake
news.
news. It is
It's
not
not
fake
fake
news. Kanda
news.
Ranat was invited.
And Sabita Chowdhury, everybody were invited. I'm like, what? I mean, everybody has a say, but this is like too much to even digest. And
Mm,
so yes, so we will not benefit. There'll be Chaturvedis, there'll be
mm.
Sharmas, all those people will be sitting
Uh,
there.
e- even from majoritarian sense or even from data sets, it is the women from SC/ST uh, who have been out in the public far long than the upper caste, middle class, even Ashraf women or upper
Hmm.
caste Christian
Hmm.
women like Arundhati
Hmm.
Roy. They were
Hmm.
always in the house. It is only
Hmm.
in when India was getting modernized, they start going outside for work.
Hmm.
Otherwise, so they
Hmm.
were always in the house.
Hmm. Hmm. So who were in the streets is like these women, the Adivasis, Dalits, and the OBC women. They are the one who know the actual problems of the country.
Mm,
They are the one who have high pain tolerance level because of the social conditioning which is happening for the last 3,000 years. They are the
mm,
women who know, who think out of the box. They are the
mm.
women who have their highest survival instincts. These are the
Yeah,
women with high empathy levels because they see in the pain, and these are the women who will think about everybody, not just their caste or class interests. So these are the
yeah,
women who need to be there to take decisions on behalf of this country. That's the
yeah.
reason you don't see any much hangama happening in the parliament. Why? Because
Mm.
we women are not there. When we are there, you'll see how parliament happens actually.
True.
Yeah.
Agree with that. So another question to you is that you have a vocal support for Bilkis Bano as a feminist, without deleting the ethnic nature of the violent act. Why do upper caste and Brahmin women try to secularize every rape issue? Even in Manipur, many feminists downplay the race angle. They're trying to create false equivalence of Maida Paibi and the Kuki women when actually Maida Paibis were supporting rape and genocide of Kuki women. So this kind of feminism, does it help the oppressed woman?
No, it doesn't help. It only caters to their interest, their caste and class interest, as I said. It doesn't help us at all. First of all, if you cannot categorize rape, different types
Mm,
of rape, don't even talk about it, because rape is not a singular event. Rape has multiple layers. Rape doesn't only happen for lust. Lust is the minimal part for rape. The reason rape happens is a man from a power institution of caste or a majoritarian religion, or from a state institution like military or police, who wants to overpower a particular community, by dishonoring their women. That is why they use rape as a weapon. Rape is not all about lust. Rape is a weapon, it's an instrument to destroy women's body, to tell them that they are nothing. We can do, and it's a warfare. We can destroy your body, we can destroy a woman, we can destroy your psyche, and we can take control of your surrounding. That's what happened during the rapes in Manipur at that time also. And then now what is happening, when people see, they don't, they say, all women are same. Yes, any woman rape pains me. Even today I get up, I read anything on rape, it pains me. But we are not talking about that thing. We are talking about how is justice delivered. How is justice delivered for each and every woman? It's different. See, when Delhi में जो हुआ था, that what's her name,
Nirbhaya, Nirbhaya.
Nirbhaya case,
Mm.
Nirbhaya belongs to a certain thing. So the justice happened just like this. Good.
Yeah.
Bilkis Banu, the cruelty of, we'll say Nirbhaya is cruel. Yes, very horrific. Bilkis Banu had her 3-year-old child in front of her, beaten to death. They took her like this, beat her up in the ground, and they killed her. The whole family was killed, and half of them were killed. And Bilkis Banu was pregnant. They took the child out, they killed, they raped her. All this happened. We have people saying that on camera how they did it. But why is the public conscious different for Nirbhaya and different for Bilkis? Is Bilkis a less woman, or is Nirbhaya more than equal, or a more equal? What do you call? I see every woman as a woman. But why do you see every woman as a Muslim woman, a tribal woman, a Dalit woman, a Christian woman, and a Hindu woman? You are not, you're not the conscious of this caste society. It lacks integrity. It lacks honesty. All they want to do is express a sorrow when someone dies. But when people from the marginalized religion, minority religion, or marginalized community gets raped, they've reacted as if Nirbhaya case is happening for the first time in this country. Cruel rapes, gang rapes of Dalit women have happened in this country. We've seen Hatras, we've seen a lot of places. It's been happening for centuries, and they didn't bat an eye for it. They didn't bat an eye for Bilkis Banu. Even when the
Mm.
rapists were, they were left out. They were, they got acquitted. Now they came out, they got released, and
Mm.
nobody cared about it. So religion matters. Bilkis Banu, see, Nirbhaya was not raped because she's an Hindu, but Bilkis
Mm.
Banu was raped because she was a Muslim. Yeah, and that's how the whole riot began. They wanted there is a pattern for a riot, communal riot. It starts with rape and things in
Same,
Manipur.
same in Manipur. Same in
Same in
Manipur.
Manipur. Christian, tribal. There is two other intersections, and nobody cared about it until a
Mm.
picture came. Until even there also they're talking about Bharat ki beti, Bharat ki beti. नहीं, भारत की क्रिश्चियन आदिवासी बेटी को ऐसा हो रहा है. ठीक
True,
है,
true,
जो हो रहा है इसकी वजह से हो रहा है. So
true,
they are
true.
treating my body as my religion. They are treating my
Mm.
body as my caste. It's not a female body for them. It's a Christian body, Muslim body, Adivasi Dalit body. So when they're destroying it, they're trying to dehumanize me and my identity. So if you're going to talk about rape as one singular thing, I'm telling you, shut up your mouth. Don't even talk about it. Because if you're going to say yes all men, then you have to go and say yes all women and react the same for everything. And you also find out the root cause of why women are raped in different parts of the country, for what reasons. And what
True.
happened in Sri Lanka during the ethnic war. A lot of
Yeah.
Elam Tamil women were, raped and killed. That also is warfare. So you have to have a clarification on why rapes happen. Not all
true,
rapes are same.
true,
And the
true,
justice
true.
system, the conviction rate, and they say, around 90% around 100, around the rapes which happens in India, only 5% are gang rapes, and in that 5%, 90% are Dalits and Muslims.
Yeah, true,
So
true.
doesn't
Say,
this shock us?
true, true. Same thing happened in Bangladesh Liberation War also. In the Pakistan state, they were doing heinous things similar to what happened in Sri Lanka. Even the same modus operandi was taught to the Sri Lankan government by these Pakistanis. So that point, that convergence is also there. So coming to another question. No, you have time and again come in support of Ilya Raja and Aviru,
Are
and
you?
always sought to like advocate for their rightful claim. I have never seen someone from mainstream space talk about such sensitive issues in this way. But at the same time, your own people don't support you. I have seen this in my case also. They try to shoot the messenger all the time. So what keeps you going? How, why, and how do you keep talking for the oppressed?
See, the preamble of the Constitution: liberty, equality, fraternity, justice. That drives me. Wherever justice, liberty, fraternity fails, there is justice, and there's a fight for justice, and that is something which drives me. That is something which drives me. The fight of Baba Saheb Ambedkar, the fight of various women from my own community, the fight, especially the black movement. I always refer to black movement because in America, because the black women movement, Black Panthers movement, has always been very assertive in nature. And we try to even replicate that in Tamil Nadu in the 90s, and Tamil Nadu saw the worst caste violence in the 90s because there was a Tamil Panthers party and stuff like that, because people were very assertive. That was a golden period for Dalit politics in Tamil Nadu. In the field, in politics. So I'm justice driven. See, to be honest, as someone who follows Baba Saheb and someone who follows Christ, I am someone who's always been taught to fight for justice and righteousness. That is more important. And when I see, I am a survivor of domestic violence because of caste. I was married to someone when I was 21 years old, to a other caste person who treated me very badly, who broke my backbone. That is my life. I still can't walk properly for even 10 minutes straight. I still have that pain. My body remembers that. Because of caste, when he beat me, he used to, use my caste name, Paraya. He used to call me Parachi and beat me. Okay, this was my life in 21. And then I said, no, I'll just come out of it. And as soon as I came out of it, I went to this consumerist world because I was going through trauma and PTSD. And I was, working, earning money, spending my life. And then during the 2015 floods, when I went back to my slum, from where I came from, because I used to visit it like, once in a while, because once you study and get educated, we all move away. I went back there and I saw how people were, still in the same state. How untouchability, how the state was still, perpetrators on them, still oppressing them. And then when I went to Madurai, I met Evidence Kadir, and then I spoke to women from various rural area, Dalit women, and mostly Adivasi women who were victims of violence and violence and violence of caste and gender. What I could see was this news. This news was not traveling anywhere. It was there happening, and nobody knew about it because urban areas were busy discussing a lot of things. And the whole feminist movement was talking about liberty for clothing, sexual liberty, and all this stuff. Okay, cool. We all have that already, Dalit women. What we don't have is access to resources. We do not have representation in politics. We do not have a place to a stage to voice out our opinions. That is what I wanted. That's why I wrote more on women's representation. My books also talks a lot about women's representation in politics, how they are treated as unpaid labor in political parties, how they drive the whole grassroots level, booth level politics, but how they
Yeah.
are not represented here. That mattered me a lot. I went and looked at all the parties, AIADMK, DMK, Communist Party. Where were the women in the upper place? No, they were grassroots level workers. They were toiling. They were flag bearers, but they were
Mm.
not there in the decision making committees. So that is where I kind of questioned the status quo. I questioned that injustice, because you cannot call yourself left, you cannot call yourself warriors of social justice and be an hypocrite and treat a woman differently from a man, or treat a Dalit woman or a woman of mine or a people of minority religions in a different way than a majoritarian religious person. So these are something which I cannot tolerate. It's by my character. I cannot tolerate these kind of disparities because it's very jarring. How can you tolerate this? That's when I talk about. See, I was someone who knew Ilayaraja was a Dalit, but still I was scolding Ilayaraja 8 years back. Okay, I was someone who's like, ah, Ilayaraja ka attitude hai, attitude hai. Then I realized, oh, iska attitude nahi hai. Unka to he's being assertive. Ilayaraja's assertive nature was miscommunicated, misinterpreted as headweight. इनका तो ना Dalits can have talent, genius, but Dalits cannot hold their head high. They cannot do that. Dalits should always be like this. हाँ जी बोलो जी क्या करना है आपको? Oh, you given me this. No, the meaning of Dalit is being, having a very no. We are casteless. I'm very proud, of be to having a casteless root. So end of the day, when I see people, blaspheme Ilayaraj, or not blaspheme, but torture him, just like me, they torture me, no? They torture
Mm.
Ilayaraja. I could just connect both of us because I write very well. I'm a very best-selling author in Tamil. My books sell very well. And
G
things
G
like
G.
that. But they treat me like shit. And Ilayaraja, leave me, I'm nothing, I'm a speck, but Ilayaraja is there, he's a genius, one of a kind in the world. And you treat him like shit because he's a Dalit. And then just because the whole progressive community, the OBC community in Tamil Nadu, has built a politics which mocks Dalits for their character traits, for their assertiveness, for their power politics, for their power dynamics. So a lot of Dalits also are fangirls and fanboys of this whole, Dravidian politics, not the Dravidian movement. Dravidian movement itself was founded by Ayodhyadas Pandidar. He was a
Mm.
Dalit. People don't even didn't even know that until 2 years back.
Mm.
Okay, that is their knowledge level. So right now, when we were reclaiming all those stuff, they cannot tolerate that. So Ilayaraja just asked for royalty for his music. Every musician in the world get royalty. Rahman was getting royalty, but Ilayaraja, when he asked for the same royalty, the whole Tamil Nadu scolded him badly, used slurs, caste name, and everything. You see the reference. So this is something which really, bothered me, because there is a person who has been tortured in spite of his genius, work. He's been tortured because he's from this particular community. And Ilayaraja has a mind of his own, which people do not like. They do not like people who don't listen to them. They like subservient people. Ilayaraja is not subservient. And when it comes to Arivu, why I spoke about Arivu is because there's so much of knowledge appropriation which happens in Tamil Nadu. The upper caste, especially the Brahmins and the feudal caste, they very dedicatedly, they steal the work of Dalits, as if Dalits don't have knowledge. To steal the work of Dalits, they'll put their names in it. And people like Hariba were not getting paid, where they're not getting credit. There is sometimes we have to talk, because the society is accustomed to believe the oppressor. That's how it's been customed.
Mm.
The majoritarian voice, they'll accept. They will accept a Brahmin. Oh, wo to Brahmin hai. Whatever he says, it's right. That's why you even a Dalit calls a Brahmin to purify his newly built home, to get married and all. It shows that Dalit themselves, they don't believe in themselves. They believe in a Brahmin priestlyhood.
Yeah.
These are the people who do not understand the assertive nature of their own community, the power dynamics they're trying to create, and how they're trying to reclaim the dignity which is lost. So they go by, the mob mentality at times, a lot of people. But there are people who are waking up to it, like me. I mean, my grandfather was a Dalit activist. My grandfather was a land rights activist. When he was a headmaster, he made all the the students, study. He protected that slum because the slum is in the middle of the main road in the city in Chennai. The land is worth a lot, and it belongs to these people. And he protected those people. He protected those people from state violence. So these are something which is coming from there. So end of the day, but the generation before me, my dad, mom, and all, they lost track to Dalit activism. They even hid being Dalits for some time. But for me, no, I have to assert this identity because the problems are more. It is in the modern times we think caste is gone. No, caste has taken modern roots. Caste
Yeah.
has modern
Yeah.
forms. Yeah, the
Yeah.
operation has taken very modern forms, very passive forms. So we have
Yeah.
to fight that. And people are very less, Abid. I'm telling you, for minority rights, Dalit minority rights and all, there are very less people. And there are, like, Dalit Muslims are there, Pasmanda Muslims are there. We have to talk about their rights. It's only gaining momentum in the last 2 3 years. So there's a whole lot of work to be done in this place. So we are very less people. So what I'm going to do, party, have fun in my life, earn and settle and own a flat? No, it will not help anyone. Someone built, someone like Baba Sahib built a very good life for me, right? And I have to do this, replicate this with other people. So that's what I do. And the whole reason that the whole trolling parties don't like me is because this is the fight I don't give up. And this is because I realize my feminine strength, a Dalit feminine strength, which I have. I'm not a sold out. I'm not a sellout. I don't earn a money by, from getting people. I'm honest. And I don't like honest people. We've seen Baba Saheb cry in the parliament. We've seen lot
Yeah.
of refugees in this country cry. Same is happening to me. I'll take that strength. That's it. What else I can do? You're fighting a very big evil cause called caste and religion in this country. So the fight will be hard, very hard. But I'm also happy I'm doing that. I'm contributing a
Agree.
little.
Agree. 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 So, like, two questions more. The one question is on our book, Sandaikkaarigal.
Sandaikkaarigal.
Sandaikkaarigal. In this, you have brought aspect of Dalit culture, that is food. But I read bits of your book, and you are trying to show that this food is a mixture of European cuisine as well as Tamil. So, like, how did this food come up? As in, it's very difficult for me to understand because this is
See, in
not
Tam-
like aloo and biryani. Okay, this is not like aloo and biryani. This is
this is not
something.
aloo and biryani. This is a
Yeah,
very
it's something.
interesting concept.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, when people write about Dalits, no, they write about the problems, violence, and everything. That also I do. But when it comes to my books, I write about a lot of Dalit subaltern culture. That is
yeah,
something which always, because people, Dalits and marginalized people, even minority religious people have always enjoyed their life. They have their own set of cuisine. They have their own set of festivities, a life to live, right? Because I grown in a slum listening to kavalis and Sufi music. See, that is my life. We had that celebrative part of it. We were all together. So when I write about the pleasures, the lifestyles of Dalits. Because when you call cuisine, no, cuisine itself is a very feudal thing. Cuisine itself is very feudalistic. So only feudal castes develop their own cuisine. In Tamil Nadu, you have the Chettinad cuisine. You have this Mudalyar cuisine, and then you have the Brahmin cuisine is always represented as Tamil cuisine. The masala dosa, and it came from Udupi, Karnataka actually. The sambar and stuff. But there is this big chunk of, as I said, they're only 3% of people, and there is a
mm,
very big chunk of people who eat what they eat: beef, they eat pork, they eat brain, beja, they eat the liver, they eat the heart, they eat the intestine, everything, every part of a goat or a cow. And end of the day, we appreciate that food. Our cuisine is very different. So I write a lot about Madras. I write a lot about Madras's history. So when I delved deeper into the archives of Madras, what I saw was, when as soon as the people came here, as in the 17th century, as soon as the Britishers came here, they wanted people to work for them. So they
mm,
immediately go and get people, the indigenous people. They come to Madras, right?
mm,
First, they land in Fort St. George. So they go and they get help from various different people. And the
mm.
caste Hindus were not eating
Meat.
um, meat, or some of them
Mm,
are not eating beef. And then
yeah.
they included Mohammedans. That's what they say,
Mm,
Mohammedans. And Mohammedans were not eating pork.
pork.
So the only people they go to is the indigenous people, because indigenous people eat both. So they
Mm,
call them to work. And when they
mm.
go there to work, that's where they became butlers.
Acha.
They became butlers, and then they
Mm,
also became ayas. Ayas is a very different concept. It's a beautiful concept. My next book will have concept of ayas. So these
okay.
native women who took care of the children of these governors and
Yeah, yeah,
lords.
yeah. This I know. This we know in with Bengal also we had this.
Yeah. So the rasam, rasam, right? Pepper water.
Yeah.
Rasam, they always claim as a Brahmin dish. But
Mm,
actually, there's a Wyndham's cookbook. So they wrote a lot of cookbooks when these people came here in Chennai with Madras presidency. There's a lot of British people who wrote about the cuisine. So you have this Molagatani soup. In any five-star hotel, you
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Molagatani soup.
yeah.
Molagatani soup is very famous in Britain as a very good soup.
Mm,
Molagatani means pepper water. See, we
mm,
didn't have chili at the time, we had a lot of pepper.
mm,
So they also came for pepper. Pepper was
mm.
their life, British food, bland.
Yeah,
As soon as
yeah,
they
yeah.
came for, they loved the pepper. And these ayas, they
Mm,
introduced this pepper water, Molagatani soup,
mm,
which is
mm,
made with beef and goat broth, especially with
yeah,
beef broth. So they
yeah,
added some pulse to it, some red pepper to it, and made like a soup. And they gave it to the governesses who gave birth. This is how the
yeah,
Molagatani soup started. So
yeah,
it
yeah,
was a Dalit contribution to the cuisine, which
yeah.
throughout history has been treated as a Brahmin contribution. So I went into the colonial and post-colonial influence on the foods. So the food in Madras, especially the slums, because all these ayahs are indigenous natives who came from these slums. The
Mm,
slums also are not in a degraded manner. Slums are where the place, the land was given by the British to these people,
mm,
and they
mm,
paid
mm,
no tax because they call
mm,
themselves the natives. All archives are there. So what they do is, when they went there, they took little bit of Tamil cuisine to the Britishers, and they bought a lot of this cuisine to here. For example, cooking chicken with brandy. Okay,
mm,
that they do. And all these ayahs had brandy and all. For cough, they'll take brandy because these ayahs got accustomed to brandy, from
mm.
the Britishers. And
Mm.
vinegar, the use of vinegar to marinate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you wrote about that.
Yeah, my grandmother
Vinegar
uses
and
a lot of
cow.
it.
Vinegar and
Yeah,
cow.
and we
Yeah,
eat a lot of bread with beef or bread with mutton. So we
yeah,
eat that. And this is when you get into it, you can see there's a lot of dishes which has been, like vindaloo,
yeah.
beef vindaloo, pork vindaloo. We copy a lot. So it has become an amalgamation, from here to there, and we invented new dishes. So
True,
I just wanted to add a Dalit cuisine,
true.
because in Chennai, you have Brahmin Hotel, Ayyar
Mm,
Hotel, Devar
mm,
Hotel in Tamil Nadu. It is all casteist names. Why
mm,
can't we have a Parayar Hotel or
mm,
Arundhativar Hotel? Will they come? They will not even come. But I want to break the stereotype about how our cuisines work and how we are more modern with our cooking and how we have a very inclusive diet. So that's why I spoke about community kitchen, and I spoke about how our women are not forced to go into the kitchen. There's always community kitchens around in Madras,
Agree.
and yeah, and the working class, relied on them, and how our food is protein rich. It has a
Mm.
lot of B12 because we eat a lot of red meat. The working class
Mm.
women are very strong because they eat a lot of meat, that kind of thing. So that's what feminism is. That's what
Yeah,
feminism
yeah,
is. Talk
yeah.
about red meat.
Yeah. Agree,
Yeah.
agree. Even I gave an advice to the CPM here that talk about beef. Don't talk about rice, because party means beef. I think that would be much more catchy for the urban people. Anyways, this soup that you're talking about, that soup found its place in the dinner hosted by the Bangladeshi government for the French premier.
Now to
So y-
throw.
yeah, and
Yeah, because
this plan.
G20 summit, they starve those people in G20
Yeah,
summit.
yeah, yeah. Another point you made about this thing about will the upper class, middle class, will they come to our household or our establishment to eat? Similar thing is there in Kolkata also. You have some places where you may not get the best biryani, but the ambience is much more bhadralok. But there are other places where there are Muslim places which are upwardly. So the middle class will go, including the Muslim middle class will go. But where the biryani is actually the best, they won't go to that place. It is same everywhere, and be it Bangladesh or Pakistan or India, caste is all same also in Sri Lanka. So my last question to you, and this is a very controversial topic, and I would ask you to reflect
Yeah.
on it. I have different views on this, and you have different views on this, but I will talk about this. That is, why do you think Muslims and Christians from Dalit category, who were Dalits previously, they should be included in scheduled caste? My point is that the Dalit Christian movement is quite new. It is 150 years old. But regarding the Dalit Muslim question, we became Muslims a long time ago. So the kind of untouchability that the Hindu society practiced upon the scheduled caste as well as the Dalit Christians, that kind of untouchability we did not face. So, like, how do you when I marry this question together? I understand how you broach this subject, but from a historical perspective,
See,
the Dalit
we
Muslims.
have been Christians for 6 generations. So we
Okay,
converted before 6 generations.
okay.
So they were all been, doing, what do you say, my
Manual scavenging.
ancestors.
Mm.
No, not manual scavenging, but my ancestors were doing very menial jobs,
Yeah,
and they were doing something called Urium. Urium is where they do all the work as bonded laborers. They will
yeah,
be, their whole family will be tied to upper caste people, feudal caste people. They live
yeah,
in
yeah.
their farms outside. They'll do all the work, but they will not get any money. It
Agree.
is,
I know.
yeah, and they'll be given, the old food and things like that. So that is when they actually converted to Christianity, because Christianity came to the Madras presidency. In India itself, there's been waves of Christian arrival,
Yeah.
and we had the uh, this wave which came 6 generations back. So I'm the sixth generation.
Mm.
But have we, as I said, even though we got converted also for the last, except for me, everybody were living in a slum only, as I told you. And we do not have land. And another thing is the oppression is still there. For example, in Tamil Nadu, out of all the people who converted, around 65% are Dalits. Okay, there are 65 people who are Dalits, and their economic condition is not that great. They are as poor as any Dalit in the state, under the poverty line, 80% of them. And then they are also landless. They are agricultural laborers, mostly in the northern districts of Tamil Nadu. They are in the northern districts of Tamil Nadu as well as the southern districts of Tamil Nadu. and with the western part also. And there are various denominations, and in that Catholic is fully ridden by caste. And there are certain churches where even the Dalits cannot go, certain churches. And then from appointment to the priest, to even they don't marry. See, a Hindu nadar is a BC OBC. A Hindu nadar, a Christian nadar will marry a Hindu nadar, but a
mm,
Hindu nadar will not marry a Dalit Christian. A Christian nadar will not marry a Dalit Christian.
uh,
They'll go out of religion also, but they'll not go out of caste. That is the
yeah, yeah,
scenario. There have been honor killings also. So
yeah.
the Dalit movement actually has Dalit Christian movement has been for a very long time. For example, as I told you, the Dravidar Kadagam, the DK movement, was first
Mm,
established by Reverend John Ratnam. He was a Christian priest, CSA
okay.
priest. He was the one who even spoke about anti-Brahmanism first, and then he, along with Ayodhyadas Pandidar only, they opened this. They founded this Dravidar Kadagam, and they are the ones who are forefathers of Dravidian movement. So they had Christian roots, and John Ratnam had Christian roots, and there were a lot of, including Alcott, a lot of anti-caste Dalit reformers in Tamil Nadu were, connected with these missionaries, and they worked towards abolishing caste in the state, but they couldn't. All they could get was separate schools like Adravada schools, some affirmative action, some reservation, but caste could not be abolished. Caste cannot be abolished. So still now Dalit Christians are treated the same way uh, as any Dalit person, Hindu or Muslim or whatever, by their own Christian brethren, and they are being treated as oppressed people, Dalit untouchables by other religion, for example Hindu religion. So even then, though they converted, they are still treated as untouchable. They are not say, "Oh, you're Peter now, so I will touch you. I will let you inside my house." No, Peter also is entering the house of someone from the back gate, and Peter also is getting beaten up for being a Dalit. Like Parani, Parani is a Hindu
Mm,
name. So Peter and Parani are treated the same. So there's no difference. And then the scheduled caste status is not just about this. It is more about our originality. See, we are indigenous
yeah.
people.
I agree. I agree. I agree with you on that.
My caste certificate says Christian Adi Dravida. Adi
Yeah, the
Dravida means, yeah, pre-Dravidian, or the first Dravidians. We are indigenous people. So end of the day, that indigeneity cannot be erased. If you go and tell someone, for example, people from the African Americans, just because they got converted to Malcolm X, he
Mm,
converted to Islam. Would you call
mm,
him no, non-black? Would you call him white? He will always be
no.
a black, right? And the Native Americans. What if Native Americans are oppressed? They get all the affirmative actions, whatever. Native Americans, if they convert to Christianity or any other religion, would you call them, not native? They will be Native Americans by virtue of their birth, by ethnicity. Like that, I am a scheduled caste, I am an indigenous person, and you cannot erase that identity. That identity is the politics. That's very important. And if tomorrow globally people are going to talk about my identity, and they're going to talk about caste, the UN, the Global Human Rights Organization, I should come under that identity to be protected by human right laws. That is there,
True.
no? So that
True.
is there. And then whenever I talk about any caste atrocities, you would have seen, you have thousands of people coming and saying you're not Dalit, we are not torturing you.
Mm-hmm.
They want to erase
Mm,
my lived experience, and they
mm,
want me to go to Hindu religion by talking like
mm,
this.
mm.
I will not go
Garvapsi.
to Garvapsi. Garvapsi
Mm.
to karenge to Buddha. We have to do Buddhism, and there were very much more
Na,
religions like Asi will come in
yeah,
Tamil
yeah.
Nadu. And we get
Even
pagans.
right now, Shalin, even right now, Ambedkarite is saying ki first convert to Buddhism, then you talk about your Dalit Christian, Dalit Muslim identity.
No, no,
So
no.
this is a very interesting topic, and
You
I
have to
understand
read
what you're saying.
You have to read
Yeah,
Ayodhyadas Pandidar. Ayodhyadas
yeah,
Pandidar says we are like Purva Bauddhar, which is like we are
yeah,
indigenous Buddhist. So there's no
yeah,
need for us to even convert. We are
yeah,
Buddhist.
yeah,
Why should we even
yeah,
convert? So this is the
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
See, only thing about me is more than representation. Representation also matters. You cannot erase my identity and erase my lived experience, the oppression. So you're leaving out a whole chunk of people who are actually going through oppression, and the state is totally escaping from it, and the
Yeah,
oppressors are
yeah,
escaping
yeah,
from it
yeah.
because of it.
Understood,
I don't
understood,
want
understood.
that to happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We will discuss this in a very different way because we need to bring some other people also in this discussion.
Yeah, yeah,
People who are going to go after Shalid as well as me. I think that kind of discussion is required on this. Even though the topic is very serious, but we need to have a different kind of discussion on that. Thank you for giving us time, Shalin Mariya Lawrence. Very happy to have you here. So, guys who are watching DYNT, please like, share, and subscribe so that we can bring to you more videos of such kind. Please like, share, and subscribe, and make sure that you click on the bell icon. DYNT, Democratize Your Nation Today, and keep watching these videos so that we can awaken one human at a time. Thank you.